Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to call to order this Tuesday, May 30th, 2023 meeting of the Pierce County Council. The time is approximately 3:03 p.m. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Thank you. Councilmember Campbell.
Here.
Councilmember Groover.
Here.
Councilmember Denson.
Here.
Councilmember Herrera.
Here.
Councilmember Hitchin.
Here.
Councilmember Morrell.
Here.
And Councilmember Mello.
Here.
There's 7 members present, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. We have 7 members present and a quorum. Our moment of silence today is dedicated in honor of Memorial Day to the men and women who have given the ultimate sacrifice for the protection of our country and our freedoms. I'll ask Councilmember Groover to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and then remain standing for a moment of silence in honor of the men and women we have lost serving in our armed forces. Councilmember Groover.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 4 is approval of the agenda. Is there any objection to the agenda as presented? Not seeing any, the agenda will stand approved. That brings us to section 5. Vice Chair Campbell for a motion.
On the consent agenda, I would move to amend the consent agenda, moving items C1 and C2 to section 7 and adopting the consent agenda as amended.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to adopt the consent agenda with the exception of moving items C1 and C2 to section 7 of our agenda. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Groover.
Aye.
Councilmember Denson.
Aye.
Councilmember Herrera.
Aye.
Councilmember Hitchin.
Aye.
Councilmember Morrell.
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell.
Aye.
Councilmember Mello.
Aye.
The result of the roll call vote is 7 ayes and 0 nays.
On a vote of 7 ayes and 0 nays, the consent agenda is adopted. Item number 6 is messages from the executive, judges, or the prosecuting attorney, and there are none today. That does move us to section 7 of our agenda, and we're going to consider these resolutions before the proclamations. So we do have proposal R 2023-81 before us. Councilmember Hitchin for a motion.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to move adoption of R 2023-81.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we adopt proposal R 2023-81. Madam Clerk, please read the title into the record.
Proposal number R 2023-81, a resolution of the Pierce County Council confirming the reappointment of 3 existing board members, Elizabeth Grasher, Haley Smith, and Lauren Wallen, to the Behavioral Health Advisory Board. Thank you.
Thank you. I see Haley Smith here. Haley, welcome. We would invite you to briefly introduce yourself and share any remarks you might have with us about your appointment.
Hi, thank you. Yes, my name is Haley Smith. I'm the Clinic Operations Manager for Eleanor Health, and this would be my second appointment to the Behavioral Health Advisory Board. And so far, I have really thoroughly enjoyed being able to really make a difference in the county and working with the board. So thank you again.
Thank you. I do not believe we have Lauren Wallen or Haley Smith in chambers or online. Is that, who do we have?
Or Elizabeth. We have Haley.
Excuse me, Lauren Wallen or Elizabeth Grasher. We thank you, Haley, for introducing yourself, managing too much here at the same time. So I think that's accurate. Great. Are there any questions for Haley Smith before we open this up for a public hearing? Not seeing any. Haley, thank you again for being here. This is a public hearing. Anyone wishing to provide comment on Resolution 2023-81? We'll start with Chambers. Please come to the podium and introduce yourself for the record. Not seeing any. Ms. Persons, anyone online?
For any member of the public wishing to make
your telephone keypad. No hands raised.
Thank you. We'll close the public hearing and bring it back to council. Are there any final remarks by council members? Not seeing any. Thank you, Ms. Smith. Thank you for being here. Thank you to also Elizabeth and Lauren for seeking reappointment. We're entrusting you with many important decisions, not only with resources, certainly financial resources are really important to scaling up essential programs, but also charging you with many other important policy recommendations and systems improvement recommendations that we really rely on you and your best judgment. So thank you for giving of your expertise and your time. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll on R 2023-81?
Councilmember Denson.
Aye.
Councilmember Herrera.
Aye.
Councilmember Hitchin.
Aye.
Councilmember Morrell.
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell.
Aye.
Councilmember Krueger.
Aye.
And Councilmember Mello.
Aye.
The result of the roll call vote is 7 ayes and 0 nays.
On a vote of 7 ayes and 0 nays, Resolution 2023-81 is adopted. That brings us to Resolution 2023-82. Councilmember Hitchin for a motion.
Thank you, Chair. I move adoption of R 2023-82.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we adopt R 2023-82. Madam Clerk, please read the title to the record.
Proposal number R 2023-82, a resolution of the Pierce County Council confirming the appointment of one new member, Mandy Copeland Treadwell, to the Parkland Spanaway Midland Land Use Advisory Commission. Thank you.
Thank you. Mandy, welcome. Thank you for being with us. We'd love for you to briefly introduce yourself and share why you would like to serve.
Hi, my name is Mandy Kaplan. I currently work for the state of Washington under the state treasurer's office, and I live in Parkland, and I'm excited to help be a voice for the Parkland area and future and current land use. And thanks for having me.
Thank you for being with us. Thank you for your willingness to serve. Any questions for Mandy before we open this up for public hearing? Not seeing any. Is there anyone wishing to provide public comment on this appointment resolution? Anyone in chambers? Not seeing anyone. Ms. Persons, anyone online?
For any member of the public wishing to make public comment, press the raise hand icon in Zoom or *9 on your telephone keypad. No hands raised.
Thank you. We'll close the public hearing and bring it back to council. Are there final remarks by council members? Councilmember Hitchin.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you both to Mandy and Haley. I know not supposed to blend, but I thought I'd save a little bit of time today. Thank you both for stepping forward. Serving on our boards and commissions is so important. And Mandy, as a Parkland resident, very excited that you're going to be there and looking out to current and future residents in Parkland. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. We add our gratitude. We really do rely on boards and commissions to advise council on so many important matters, so thank you. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll on Resolution 2023-82?
Councilmember Herrera.
Aye.
Councilmember Hitchin.
Aye.
Councilmember Morrell.
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell.
Aye.
Councilmember Krueger.
Aye.
Councilmember Denson.
Aye.
Councilmember Mello.
Aye.
The result of the roll call vote is 7 ayes and 0 nays.
On a vote of 7 ayes and 0 nays, the resolution is adopted. Thank you again to all of you. We now have Resolution 2023-84 in front of us. Councilmember Krueger for a motion.
Thank you, Chair. I move R 2023-84.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we adopt the Resolution 2023-84. Madam Clerk, please read the title to the record.
Proposal number R 2023-84, a resolution of the Pierce County Council designating June 2023 as Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder Awareness Month in Pierce County, Washington.
Thank you. I'd like to invite to the podium Ms. Elizabeth Allen, the behavioral health with the behavioral health program at the Tacoma Pierce County Health Department. And I'm going to ask Councilmember Krueger to please read the proclamation into the record. Councilmember Krueger.
Thank you, Chair. Whereas post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, is associated with chemical changes in the body's hormonal system and autonomic nervous system, and is characterized by symptoms including but not limited to flashbacks, nightmares, insomnia, avoidance, hypervigilance, anxiety, and depression. And whereas PTSD can develop after exposure to a potentially traumatic event, that is beyond a typical stressor, such as violent personal assaults, natural or human-caused disasters, accidents, combat, and other forms of violence. And whereas the Centers for Disease Control's National Intimate Partner and Sexual Violence Survey, the NISVS, indicates 1 in 4 women and 1 in 10 men experience physical violence, rape, or stalking by an intimate partner that results in health-related impacts such as PTSD. And whereas of the United States' 2 most recent conflicts in Afghanistan and Iraq, 29 out of 100 United States Armed Service members who fought in those wars will develop PTSD at some point in their lives. And whereas PTSD affects approximately 12 million adults in the United States annually, whereas traumatic events can happen at any time, and it's important to recognize the signs of PTSD in youth. And whereas despite its treatability, many cases of PTSD remain undiagnosed and untreated due to a lack of awareness and persistent stigma associated with mental health conditions. And whereas raising awareness of PTSD is necessary to remove stigma and encourage those suffering to seek appropriate and timely treatment, and Pierce County residents can find service providers and resources on the Pierce County website at www.piercecountywa.gov/BHP. And whereas all residents suffering from PTSD deserve our compassion, and those who experienced trauma while protecting our freedom deserve great respect for their sacrifice. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Pierce County Council that the month of June 2023 is designated as Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder Awareness Month in Pierce County, Washington, to bring awareness to the needs of those suffering with PTSD and to encourage people to remove the stigma associated with this condition and reach out to those in need to provide support. Adopted this 30th day of May, 2023.
Thank you, Councilmember Coover. Elizabeth, thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much for having me this afternoon. It's a huge honor, Chair Mello and members of the council. My name is Elizabeth Allen. I am the Behavioral Health Policy Coordinator for the Tacoma Pierce County Health Department. This is an honor because this affects me both personally and professionally. I am a proud daughter of a combat veteran as well as a proud wife of a combat veteran, both serving overseas. I want to thank you again for acknowledging post-traumatic stress disorder and behavioral health challenges that greatly affect our county and our nation. About 6% of adults in the U.S. will be diagnosed with PTSD in their lifetime. Many suffer in silence due to stigma. While most often associated with law enforcement and military, post-traumatic stress disorder can affect anyone, including those who have experienced child abuse, violence, and other traumatic events like isolating effects during the pandemic. Post-traumatic stress disorder can appear in many ways. Not only does it create barriers for those who suffer from it, it deeply affects loved ones and our community. And yet, we still have hope. Seeking help early and often through behavioral health resources and support, including non-traditional services, are ways to live healthy, thriving lives. At the Tacoma Pierce County Health Department, we encourage all organizations and agencies to become trauma-informed to help understand the underlying challenges that people face. Universal behavioral health screening and referral to resources need to be a priority in our county to identify behavioral health needs and work towards prevention efforts while getting people the help they need as soon as possible. Post-traumatic stress disorder is associated with many stigmatizing words. The Health Department asked the Council today to help decrease the negativity of PTSD that often leads to shame and guilt of those who are suffering. Tacoma Pierce County Health Department asked the Council to support efforts that lead to access to quality behavioral health services and to continue to have out-of-the-box thinking when it comes to non-traditional behavioral health services to help support all Pierce County residents. Again, thank you so much for recognizing how post-traumatic stress disorder affects our community and helping to shed a light on all we can do to help. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being with us. Thank you for those remarks. We're going to open this up for a public hearing. Is there anyone in chambers wishing to provide comment on the Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder Awareness Month proclamation. Not seeing any missed persons. Anyone online?
For any member of the public wishing to make public comment, press the raise hand icon in Zoom or *9 on your telephone keypad. No hands raised.
Thank you. We'll close the public hearing and bring it back to council. Are there final remarks by council members? Councilmember Cruver.
Thank you, Chair. This is something that so many people aren't particularly aware of because you may not know that someone has it until an event occurs. And something that has always been kind of near to my heart, not that I've been able to do anything, but I know service dogs are very helpful to those who have PTSD. And I learned there's a Northwest Battle Buddies, so they do service dogs that are out of battleground. And I went to a service yesterday in Eatonville, and the speaker had mentioned about the suicides for veterans. And there's 22 veterans a day that we lose, and over 8,000 per year that are committing suicide on American soil, and a lot of that can be due to the PTSD. And older veterans account for 58% of the veteran suicides. And then I learned in a Stafford study of the traumatic stress can change the brains of boys and girls differently. And there is the insula in the brain that measures or processes emotions and empathy, and that can be different in boys and girls. And then in Forbes, you learn that 21% of U.S. adults experienced a mental health condition in 2020. 5.6% of U.S. adults experience a serious mental health condition. And in 2020, I didn't have the recent stats, maybe someone does, for children aged 10 to 14, it was the second leading cause of death, preceded only by unintentional industry. Then with the Forbes mental health community, 1 out of 8 every emergency visits involves a mental health or substance abuse disorder. And the majority of youth in juvenile detention, 70%, have been diagnosed with a mental health disorder. And I just wanted to go a little bit on some of the background on how we got this. In 50 BC, Hippocrates first documented the trauma of battle with flashbacks, and which made us think of, okay, that's the PTSD. 1915, it was coined shell-shocked. 1974, there was coined rape trauma disorder. 1980, PTSD first appeared in the DSM, the Diagnostic Statistical Manual for Mental Disorders. And then June 27th of 2010, the Senate formally acknowledged a PTSD Day, and then in 2014, they designated a full month. And then I learned that in the Senate, Congress, they have introduced Senate 645, which is a program for making treatment available to public safety officers because they're finding they too, and all of those in the 911 and the emergency systems, firefighters, dispatchers, they also are very affected by PTSD. And so it's a great thing to bring this to the forefront, and there's a lot of background to it, a lot of people affected. So thank you, and thank you for what you said. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you for sharing those learnings, Councilmember Cruver. Councilmember Herrera.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Elizabeth, for being here. PTSD, can, like you said, it can happen to anybody. But in particular, at least in my world that I know about veterans, the stigma for professionals or veterans with PTSD is kind of damaging. There is a reason why veterans and public safety have one of the highest rates of suicide. A lot of veterans don't seek, and or public safety don't seek help due to the stigma of it. And having awareness today about it and breaking that stigma for the professionals that are still doing the job today is really, really important. And giving them avenues to seek help without any retributions of their job, their professional job is really important. Some of the perceptions for, at least in particular for veterans, is if a veteran is labeled that they were in combat or they have PTSD, that they're broken or they're crazy. And in fact, veterans are a valuable part of society, and their service brings out strengths and attributes and skills and benefits in their communities. And I do worry a little bit about that perception with civilians who think of combat veterans, or even some businesses when it comes to hiring practices of veterans and or public safety officers. and anybody who's seen any type of trauma. I'm just focusing on those two things because I know that avenue. But I also know the civilian side of it, of seeing trauma and what it does to young people, to kids, to families, to a community. So it's really important. I'm really glad we brought this out today. In the past, it's kind of been one of those taboo things you don't talk about. But I appreciate bringing this out today, and I support this. So thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councilmember Herrera. Councilmember Hitchin.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Elizabeth, and for all the team at the Health Department that's been working on this for a long time. I think the thing I want to just remind everybody, and I'll just kind of keep saying this, is that we all process trauma differently. And something can be witnessed by the same family or the same group, and one will experience PTSD. And we can't figure it out. We don't know the science about why this person processes something different and has these symptoms and someone else doesn't. It's the same thing with our veterans. You can have the same group of men and women deployed in the same action, experience the same thing, and they all process it different. And that's one of the reasons mental health disorders is so challenging to handle and has this air of mystery behind it, and so people don't seek help. So I'm just going to continue saying the same thing. If you are hurting, tell someone. If you need help, ask for help. And it can be frustrating sometimes because we do not have enough supports in our community and our county, but saying nothing is doing nothing for you and your family that is trying, hopefully, to help you as well. So I appreciate every time we can bring this up, because I don't want to normalize it as in we ignore it and it just kind of goes away, but normalize it in it's okay to talk about, it's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to say, hey, I have PTSD. So thank you for bringing this forward. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Vice Chair Campbell.
Thank you, Chair. Kind of realigning my thoughts, because so much of what I wanted to say has already been said, particularly when it comes to supporting our veterans and first responders. There's actually a really good video that was put out by Tacoma Fire Department. Look it up on YouTube on I think it's the cults that we carry or something along that line. Look it up. It's phenomenal about PTSD in fire departments. But in the career that I've been in public service, just the amount of awakening we've had towards PTSD has been really good. I mean, in that we're starting to look at things through the lens of trauma-informed care. How do we fund programs that look at people's trauma and not at they're drug addicted, oh, they must just be an addict? No, there might be something behind it. A very good reason behind it. Let's address that root cause rather than simply pushing for more incarceration or simply dismissing them because of a temporary situation in their life. Find out what the root cause is. I've seen us roll out ACEs scores. Trauma is so complex and comes from so many different ways. You can actually create scorecards around it. And then using that scorecard is how you begin to, see what way are we going to address the 17 different traumas that this person is presenting before us from all the different ways. So I just am really appreciative that we can bring this front and center. And I know it really centers around some industries, but it really affects so many people in so many different ways. And I think that we owe it among ourselves up here to try to understand all those different ways and make sure that we're looking at trauma-informed care when we're looking at all the support that we do. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Vice Chair Campbell. Really appreciate the perspectives and really thoughtful remarks from my colleagues. I wish I had something profound to add, but really appreciated hearing the different perspectives that we all come at this important work, and really also grateful that we are destigmatizing and raising the need for the resources and really high quality, robust care. So thank you, everyone, for those thoughtful remarks. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll on Resolution 2023-84?
Yes. Councilmember Hitchin.
Aye.
Councilmember Morrell.
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell.
Aye.
Councilmember Krueger.
Aye.
Councilmember Denson.
Aye.
Councilmember Herrera.
Aye.
And Councilmember Mello.
Aye.
The result of the roll call vote is 7 ayes and 0 nays.
On a vote of 7 ayes and 0 nays, the resolution is adopted. Please join me in a round of applause. Ms. Allen, we would be honored if you would come up and take a photo with us. Thanks again.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Oh, hang on a second. Something happened. All right. 1, 2, 3. And one more. 1, 2, 3. Got it. Thank you.
Certainly, thank you.
Thank you. We have proposal R 2023-85 in front of us. Vice Chair Campbell for a motion.
Move proposal number R 2023-85. Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we adopt resolution 2023-85. Madam Clerk, will you please read the title into the record?
Proposal number R 2023-85, a resolution of the Pierce County Council proclaiming June 2023 as White Transit Month in Pierce County, Washington.
Thank you. The chair of the Pierce Transit Board has asked me to read this today, so I am honored to do so. This is a resolution of the Pierce County Council proclaiming June as Ride Transit Month here in Pierce County, Washington. Whereas public transit is integral to reducing greenhouse gas emissions, air pollution, and is critical to the implementation of the Pierce County Sustainability 2030 Plan. And whereas Pierce County provides multiple modes of public transportation that connect people to work, education, commerce, medical care, recreation, and community resources, including but not limited to Sound Transit, Pierce Transit, Pierce County and state ferry systems, and school buses. And whereas the Pierce County Council remains committed to providing more access and working with transit agencies to provide more options for transportation, as laid out in the Council's recent letter to Sound Transit, outlining transit needs in the South Sound, including expanded express bus service, more frequent Sounder train service, and completing the rail connection to DuPont, one of Pierce County's most southern cities. And whereas this summer, Sound Transit will open the Tacoma Link expansion, extending light rail service in the Tacoma urban core by 2.4 miles and 6 additional stops, including service to 2 hospitals, Stadium and Hilltop neighborhoods. And whereas the Washington State Legislature appropriated more than $10.7 million for the Bus Rapid Transit project in Pacific Avenue State Route 7 corridor that will expand reliable transit access by 14 miles on Pacific Avenue between downtown Tacoma and Spanaway, and help ensure Pierce County's first bus rapid transit system will be ready to meet the needs of our residents. And whereas the One Regional Card for All, or ORCA, connects Pierce County residents to Pierce Transit buses, van pools, and paratransit, Sound Transit trains and express buses, and Washington State ferries, regionally connecting people to transit agencies in King, Kitsap, Snohomish, and Thurston counties. And whereas the Pierce County Ferry System, which serves the communities of Anderson and Ketron Islands, celebrated its 100th anniversary of service in April 2022. And whereas the Pierce County Council recognizes the dedicated transit operators, schedulers, and maintenance staff who assures safe transport of workers and residents who provide important services and community resources throughout Pierce County, vital services and community resources throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Pierce County Council that June 2023 is Ride Transit Month in Pierce County, Washington, and the council encourages residents to ride public transit when possible. Adopted this 30th day of May 2023. I'd like to invite up the Chief Executive Officer of Pierce Transit, Mike Griffiths, to say a few words. Mr. Griffiths.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Chair Mello and council members, for having me. Thank you for passing this resolution and for recognizing how important transit is to the members of this community. In 2022, Pierce Transit transported over 5.5 million people on our buses. We also provided millions of more rides on the Sound Transit buses, which we contract with them to provide that service in the South Sound. We also want you to know that more than 1/3 of Pierce Transit's riders have incomes of less than $30,000, and 39% of our riders have no access to a vehicle. Transit is an effective equity tool, giving our neighbors access to jobs, education, and other opportunities. We also contribute to a healthy planet and reduce congestion. And it helps build our economy, getting much-needed employees to their jobs every day and to schools. At Pierce Transit, we're working hard to provide new innovative services such as our runner and working on building a bus rapid transit line here, and 4 more lines are planned. And also last fall, we implemented a new program where youth ages 18 and under ride transit free. And this was made possible by the Move Ahead Washington state legislation. And just a few months ago, we implemented Orca Lift, a reduced fare program for low-income adults. These are just a few examples of how Pierce Transit is working to meet the needs of everyone in our community. So thank you for encouraging Ride Transit. Nationally, it is Ride Transit Month. We're all doing our part. Before I wrap up, I just wanted to let you know about extended invitation to you. Thursday night, June 1st, 5:30 at Zeke's Pizza. We're holding transit trivia event. We welcome you to come out and join. Last year, I will say the team from Pierce Transit won that event, but you know, we do have a little bit of an advantage. So thank you very much for this resolution. It means a lot to us. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Griffiths. You will have to get the report on if you defend the title or not this year. We'll look forward to that report. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in chambers wishing to provide comments on this proclamation? Please come to the podium, say your name for the record, and we invite you to give your remarks for 3 minutes.
Hello, council members. My name is Laura Swanzarek. I'm the advocacy manager with Downtown on the Go. We are the nonprofit advocate and resource for all things transportation in the greater Tacoma area. Thank you for declaring Ride Transit Month. Love it. I've been a transit rider since I was about 13 years old. That was really what gave me my first experience in freedom of mobility, whether that was just getting to the next town over to get to the mall, or later bus hopping around the entire Puget Sound with my friends with no destination in mind. Taking transit was how I learned to be independent and resilient, and it's how I experienced new things and got around my world. And for many people, transit is a lifeline. We're really grateful to work with Pierce Transit and their work providing quality transit services to the people of Pierce County. That's no easy feat. And it only gets more and more important as we see more displacement out of the urban cores and into the rest of the county, as we see aging populations in the rural areas of the county. The need for high quality, frequent, connected transit only grows. Transit means access to specialist doctors for seniors living out in rural areas that don't drive anymore. It means calmer commutes and better health outcomes for our workforce. It means access to after-school programs, sports, jobs for teenagers to have those kinds of experiences that I did. And it means a greener and more sustainable future for Pierce County. So it is our obligation to make public transit as excellent as we can in Pierce County. And we look forward to continuing to work with both the county and Pierce Transit to make that happen. And I invite you all to find your local bus routes in your neighborhoods and really get out there on Pierce Transit during this month. And if you need help getting started, let me know. I will ride the bus with you. Thank you.
Thank you. What service? And we might expect Downtown on the Go to rival the Pierce Transit team at Zeke's Pizza. Anyone else in chambers wishing to provide comment on this proclamation? Not seeing any missed persons. Anyone online?
For any member of the public wishing to make public comment, press the raise hand icon in Zoom or *9 on your telephone keypad. No hands raised.
Thank you. We'll close the public hearing and bring it back to council. Are there final remarks by council members? Councilmember Denson.
Yes, I just want to give a quick thank you for all you do and for all your innovative programs promoting transit. I just was at the Puget Sound Regional Council meeting earlier today, and part of the speakers' comments focused on the importance of public transit as a tool to achieve equity and opportunity and environmental outcomes and everything that you mentioned. I also want to thank you for your Ride Transit program for young people. We live in Gig Harbor, but my son goes to school at SAMI at Point Defiance Park over with the Tacoma school system. And being a single mom, it was awesome that he could take the bus and did so very comfortably right away because, you know, he's a teenager, so he could do anything, right? So he would take it home. He would take it to doctor's appointments, dentist appointments. He'd take it to his friend's house. I mean, all over Tacoma. And not only was that helpful to me and helpful to him, but it also got him really, really comfortable with public transit, which is going to be a skill that, you know, will benefit him his whole life. So that was wonderful. And since he bought himself a very unreliable car, he's going to be using public transit again often, I am sure. So thank you for all you do and anything that we can do to help expand access. And thank you, too, for encouraging people to reach out and get more comfortable with transit, too. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Denson. If you tune in regularly to our various council meetings and study sessions, you periodically get updates about this unreliable car. It's quite comical.
It's really cool, but
we
it
think it's
doesn't always
comical.
run.
We like following the drama. Vice Chair Campbell.
Thank goodness we have Pierce Transit to be that backup, as so many people have. You know, that is really the backup that, you know, many people have when they don't have reliable transportation, and it may be a bad car, it may just be for a whole variety of reasons why they have to come to count on public transit, and why it's so great that we're honoring it this month. And as we reflect back on the last few years, when the pandemic hit, you know, Pierce Transit, they kept going. They made sure that people, essential workers who needed to get to work, were still getting to work, making their job also essential to keeping things going. And so for that, we owe a large debt of service to public agencies all across for stepping up and being part of that. And Pierce Transit, really for what they do, does a wonderful job around here. A wonderful group of people. You should get to know them. They're hiring if you want to be part of public transit, and maybe next year you could be honored here as part of this. But I do encourage you, public transit is hiring. Want to make sure I get that plug in there. I have also heard that many of the trivia questions are going to be based on the Pierce County ferry system. So therefore, because, but it is important to note Pierce County, particularly here, you know, we're more dynamic than just, you know, buses and rail, but we have a ferry system too as part of our public transit portfolio. So unique in that way. Glad we could honor it today.
Thank you, Vice Chair Campbell. Thank you to our team at Pierce Transit for your leadership and the advocacy and great resources that Downtown on the Go provides. Thank you for being with us to help celebrate. Like others, I really enjoy serving on the Pierce Transit Board along with Vice Chair Campbell, who chairs the Pierce Transit Board, because we do know how integral Pierce Transit is to our economy and to people being able to live independent lives. I reflect often, especially when I'm in a transit setting, about you know, growing up, it's what gave me my independence. I grew up in a one-car family. My dad was the only one that drove. My mom didn't drive, though she tells us that she learned how to ride a horse. She never learned how to drive a car. She says true story, she says when she gets nervous, she can't see. True for her. And so although she learned how to ride a horse, she never learned how to drive a car, ever in her life. my poor father. But so, hence we have a bus stop right in front of our house, and my mom is independent. My dad worked clear on the other side of town, a good 45 minutes away from my mother, right? So provided independence for her to get to work almost every day, not relying on my dad. I got to go to school often and not have to bother my hardworking dad. So it does give people their independence. And I'm also often reminded that, the average American spends about 10 to 15% of their income on their transportation, right? So you think about your car payment, your insurance, gas, or however you fill your car, parking, all those things add up to about 10 to 15% of the average American's income. And if you can, to Vice Chair Campbell's comments, if you can free up that income, it is one of the ultimate equity tools to get people to where they need to go to get to opportunity, and put a little bit more money in their pocket to do other important things. So we're happy to celebrate Ride Transit Month and provide more tools for more people to be able to access opportunity. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll on Resolution 2023-85?
Yes. Councilmember Morrell,
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell,
Aye.
Councilmember Krueger,
Aye.
Councilmember Denson,
Aye.
Councilmember Herrera,
Aye.
Councilmember Hitchin,
Aye.
and Councilmember Mello.
Aye.
The result of the roll call vote is 7 ayes and 0 nays.
On a vote of 7 ayes and 0 nays, the proclamation is adopted. Please join me in a round of applause. Mike, will you join us up here, please? Laura, can we ask you to come up as well?
I know, he's a music operator, he's gonna train Jair, so.
Both of you right under the seal.
Okay.
And we're asking you to open them up because they look better on the camera that way.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Let me get one more. 1, 2, 3. Got it. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Thank you very much. Thank you. We'll see you at Zeke's.
Yeah, you got it.
Thank you. Thanks for your comments.
Too hard
We
to
can wrap
trivia.
up
You guys, good seeing you.
Thanks, sir.
Let me see.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Uh-huh.
First trivia question will be, how did Ryan's mom get it?
We are now at Section 8 ordinances. Councilmember Denson for a motion to advance Proposal 2023-17.
Thank you, Chair. I move proposal number 2023-17.
Second?
It's been properly moved and seconded that we adopt Proposal 2023-17. Madam Clerk, will you please read the title into the record?
Proposal number 2023-17, an ordinance of the Pierce County Council amending ordinance number 2021-100.
Last line, please.
Last line is county code.
Thank you. Mr. Boki.
Thank you very much, Chair Mello, Paul Boki, council staff. Proposal number 2023-17 is the first of 3 proposals that you're going to consider this afternoon that approve and provide funding for the acquisition and improvement of an office building and surface parking lot in downtown Tacoma for the purpose of housing a number of functions of county government, and also supports improvements to the county city building to facilitate the use of the county city building as a justice services center. 2023-17 consists of a supplemental budget and capital facilities plan amendment. The supplemental budget modifies the 2022-23 biennial budget to create a new special revenue fund, the Government Services Capital Fund, and appropriates $50 million to that fund. The funding source for the appropriation is derived from the proceeds from the proposed issuance of limited tax general obligation bonds that will be considered later today in today's agenda, R 2023-79. The appropriation is subject to provisos that limit the use of funds until a purchase and sale agreement is executed for the property acquisition, satisfactory completion of a due diligence period, and the issuance of long-term general obligation bonds, limited tax general obligation bonds. The proviso also required regular report to the council. The supplemental budget also eliminates existing provisos to the REIT Capital Improvement Fund related to improvements to the county city building, as these provisos are no longer pertinent with the proposed building purchase and associated improvements. Facilities Management has prepared a presentation that provides for more information on the property acquisition and improvements. And there are 2 amendments that we also have, and this was given a due pass recommendation at the May 22nd, 2023 Rules and Operations Committee meeting. So I'll leave it to you as to the order, if you want to take on the amendments first, or you'd like the presentation from the facility staff that is present here at the meeting today.
Thank you. Let's do the presentation by department staff, and then we will have council consider the amendments that are proposed. Mr. Imlich.
Good afternoon. I am Carl Imlich, the Director of Facilities Management, and I'm here to present to you information regarding Budget Ordinance 2023-17. Pardon me as I get my notes out so I can follow through. Let's go to slide 2, please. So from a standpoint of presentation, we'll go over a quick summary, talk about the process, talk about recommendations, and then also deal with next steps. As 2023-17 provides, we're presenting information related to providing spending authority for building purchase, tenant improvements, justice center improvements, and create a government services capital fund. And in addition, as Mr. Boki said, also amending the capital facilities plan, creating the project for the justice center improvements and administrative building project. So next slide, please. So, all right, can you go back one slide, please? Oh, let's go, yes, we'll stay right there. Sorry about that. So in 2021, the executive requested the facilities department to go ahead and perform a justice center study. So we hired K&B architects to go through and understand exactly what, actually, let's go back one slide. Should be slide 4. There it is. Thank you. And with the goals that we're looking at is combine justice-related programs onto one campus, modernize buildings to current needs and best management practices, provide a plan that addresses the 6, 10, 20-year growth and capital plan to meet those goals, and also improve customer service experience and the delivery of justice center services. The idea, of course, was let's see what all of this takes and how do we get there. Let's go to slide 5. So one of the biggest, next slide, please, sorry. So the summary of all this information, and I will be going fairly quickly. So with the summary of the Justice Center, one of the biggest things we found is that in a 20-year window, as we look at just the courts alone, in 20 years, they're going to need about 135,000 square feet more space. The little donut diagram on the side provides some of that information. And I know in more detail, we provided this in June 28th last year. We provided more of that information. So I am just doing a high-level summary at this time. And the other thing we looked at is we're currently not meeting the needs required by the Justice Center programs in this building. As we looked also at the existing facilities, we look at the jails, we look at the CCB, everything on this campus. This building is 60 years old. Usually buildings have about a 60-year lifespan unless they're reinvested and have, the major systems replaced, updates to code, updates to standards. We've done some of those things to the CCB, but it is still lacking on where we're at today. And finally, as we looked at all the information provided, we found that our layout in this building is currently fragmented. For those who are in this building, everybody is aware that courts are on various floors, departments are split between multiple floors, customer service spaces are throughout every floor of this building. And so we had a lot of fragmentation that we needed to overcome. So let's see, I'm just trying to make sure I am going correctly. So next slide, please. So one of the things that we challenged CAMB to do is say, all right, if we were to meet all of these different goals, combining all into one space, improving and modernizing this building, fix the fragmentation, improve service delivery, what would it take? And they provided us with various options that cost between $1.4 and $1.5 billion, which is a massive, heavy lift. Now, that met all the goals that were identified in the Justice Center study. It also looked at the various buildings that we have on campus, reused the ones that we're capable of reusing, remodeled some, and then also rebuilt. Now, the biggest issue there that we're left with is that this is a huge, huge lift. If we were to go out to bonds for a $1.4 to $1.5 billion project, that'd be about $100 million in debt per year to support that large piece. And one of the big things that, of course, we got is we need to come up with a different plan because that was just too large, too great of an issue. And one of the biggest things that we looked at is how do we spread out the costs? First off, meet as many goals as possible for the Justice Center plan. Can we combine things onto this campus? Can we spread out the costs over multiple years? And also come up with an approach that was more deliberate and intentional to avoid stranding costs or getting too far ahead of ourselves and investing hundreds of millions of dollars and all of a sudden needs or functions change. And so coming up with a more deliberate approach. And the biggest thing was, where do we start? And that was with, we need more space in this building, 135,000 over the next 20 years. So we looked at moving non-Justice Center functions out of the CCB, which would include the Executive Council, Communications, and Sheriff Administrative staff. Next slide, please. So why those functions? For one, it's much easier to buy, build, or lease office-type functions. Courts, jail functions are very expensive to build. They don't exist in the downtown area already, so we're looking at, okay, if that is where we need to start, we first looked at, well, how much space do we need? 100 to 150,000 square feet is what we're looking at trying to gain in the downtown campus area. Several options we explored. First one being, let's use our existing properties that are along Tacoma Avenue and building that same size square footage of new office building across the street. And that would cost about 80 to 120 million to build new and take about 5 to 6 years to complete the design, do the permitting, and then build that building. The other one we looked at was, well, what about leasing? In the downtown campus, there are places to lease. One of the big things that we found, though, is there isn't a building out there that we could lease that met our needs. We'd be then distributed and fragmented even more. So we said, let's look elsewhere. So then it was purchase a building. And this is where last year in talking with council, it was, let's go see, are there buildings in the downtown campus that could meet our needs, and go explore that. So next slide, please. So what we ended up doing is hiring a broker to explore all the explore existing buildings in the downtown campus that met our needs: size, location, parking, accessibility, flexible floor plates, and condition. And when I say floor plates, I mean each floor of a building. A lot of the older buildings that we look at, they have columns on a very short span, meaning like every 15 feet, and it's very difficult to remodel those spaces into an open environment such as the council chambers. And the other was condition. Do we want to invest in a building that is poor condition? Maybe it's a cheap price up front, but now we're investing a lot of money into remodeling that. And so in looking at all those, we found 9 different buildings that met the size criteria. We then further reviewed 3 of them that seemed to meet our needs, and we ended up looking and coming up with one that met apparently all the needs. And let's go next slide. And that is the 1501 Market Building, which is currently occupied by Regions. It's a 1992 construction. It's 149,000 square feet, 5 stories, 180 parking stalls, and also it's got a new roof, HVAC system, and elevator systems. Some of the things that, of course, I'm looking at is, hey, how old is this building? What are the conditions? Has it been cared for? Does it appear to be in good working order? For a purchase price of $27,271,000. Next slide, please. So one of the things that in looking at this is why do we recommend this building? Well, one of the first things is it could save us potentially $30 million to $70 million over buying or building new across the street. It also then could accelerate us by about 5 years in advancing the Justice Center improvements. Because if we were to wait to build a building, nothing can move out of this building. This, if we can get in there, and it looks like we could remodel it quickly, we have an opportunity to gain time and save money. The next is it does not require a tax increase or reduction in any existing services. And I'll get into that a little bit more on the next slide. So it also leaves options open to sell the Tacoma Avenue properties, because at this time we would not need to actually continue to utilize them. So next slide, please. So financing, as I talked about the cost of this and the timing of this, we're looking currently at $50 million in bond proceeds. That's made up of a purchase price and closing estimated around $28 million, or $27,271,000 for the purchase price plus closing costs, and then building improvements. And this includes both the tenant improvements at 1501 and also the improvements for the Justice Center activities in the County City Building, 1st, 7th, and 10th floors. Now, as we look at the debt service of $50 million, it's around $3.1 million per year. And I'll let finance talk more about the details. I'll just say they're 4.5% at a 30-year term. We currently have 2 bonds that will be retired, one in 2023, which is the Parkland precinct, and then in 2025, we have the O2 jail bond or debt will be retired, and that is approximately $3.1 million of debts, which is why we would not need to increase any taxes or find funds to reduce services elsewhere. The other piece is part of the plan that we're looking at is in purchasing this building would provide for the reallocation of departments that are in leased space in the downtown campus. And that includes, DAC, facilities, IT, that could all be housed then in county-owned buildings. And the cost currently of the leases is approximately $1.9 million per year, and we're estimating that that's near or maybe even above the operating costs, which is still something we're going to have to explore. Next slide, please. So the final piece is, what can you expect? And from a timing standpoint, today we have the supplemental budget revision. We have a bond intent resolution, which is also coming up. We then have the real estate purchase and sale agreement. We then sign that, hire a consultant to assist us to go through our due diligence process, and begin space planning efforts, bond ordinance, July, closing in October. I say that quickly, however, there is a ton of work in the meantime. The biggest thing, of course, is the due diligence period. That's where we have the opportunity, or by agreeing to move forward with this, we have the opportunity to take a look at the building, first to make sure that there's nothing on this site that is concerning to us that would say we don't want to buy this, maybe because of environmental or other conditions of the building. Those are the things we'd be going through. And then on the second side of that, or a parallel path, is does it work for our needs, for these services and functions that would be moved into that building? Does it allow and meet the needs that we're expecting? And both of those things, we'd have to check the box to then move forward with the actual purchase of this building. See, now I got to go back to my slides to make sure I haven't gone over anything. So I know there's a lot of information here, a lot of steps coming up. I do want to thank you all for your time and partnership in this matter, and I'll be glad to answer questions related to this ordinance.
Thank you. What questions do council members have about the information in front of us? For the public's benefit, council has been able to have this discussion with department staff a number of times in study sessions, in our Rules and Operations Committee. So we've had the benefit of touching this content a few times. So thank you, Mr. Imlich, for presenting it again for the public's benefit. Mr. Imlich, I wanted to ask about some of the sustainability features of the new facility. To the best of your knowledge, how is the 1501 Market Street building, how is it fueled?
That is something that I don't have the answer as far as if it is. I know there's a combination of electric. I do not know about its natural gas power for its major components. That's actually one of the things that, as we talk about clean building standards, that's part of our due diligence process to understand what is its energy portfolio, what has been the past. We're going to try to get as many years back as we can from Tacoma Power to see what is their usage, what is the needs, so we can evaluate what type of projects we may have to do if we have to invest in LED lights conversion to, electric versus propane. So that is, or natural gas, sorry.
Part of the due diligence period that we'll go through over the next few months.
Correct.
Thank you. So look forward to that information as you and your team learn it. Will you be doing an analysis of the opportunity for solar on the building? There's good southern exposure, big flat roof. Is this something that will be part of the analysis?
I have not gotten into that one yet. We could take a look at it. But no, we didn't have that one on our list as of yet.
Thank you. And some other questions that have come up is the potential, the plan for electric vehicle parking, both for staff and for visitors, and bike parking for both visitors and staff.
In our walkthroughs on the building, it does currently have bike parking. I think it's on the P2 level of that. We'd also be providing that for public as well, or probably providing it not inside the building, but external to the building. It currently does not have any EV charging stations for either public nor inside the building, so that is something that'll need to be added.
And that's part of the analysis and planning
Correct.
that your department will be doing?
Yep.
Thank you. I don't see any other questions at this time. Thank you, Mr. Imlich, for presenting and for answering our questions. Let's consider the amendments to this ordinance. There are two amendments in front of us. Councilmember Krueger to move amendment number 1.
Thank you, Chair. I move Amendment 1.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we adopt Council Amendment number 1. Mr. Boki.
Thank you, Chair Mello. This amendment modifies the prevention services and programs expenditures to reallocate $14,000 from the Youth Marine Foundation to the Mountaineers Tacoma branch.
Thank you. Nothing to do with the purchase of 1501 Market Street or the improvements to the County City building, but the underlying proposal amends our budget, and so we have this in front of us. Councilmember Krueger to further speak to the amendment.
Thank you, Chair. It just happened to be, the timing was good to have the vehicle for this. It wasn't going to work out well with Youth Marine, and another venue came up, and the timing worked. Thank you.
Thank you. If questions or comments about Council Amendment number 1? Not seeing any. All those in favor of adopting Council Amendment number 1, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The motion is adopted. Vice Chair Campbell to move Council Amendment number 2.
I move Council Amendment number 2 to proposal number 2023-17.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we adopt Council Amendment number 2. Mr. Boki.
Thank you very much, Chair Mello. The ordinance does state that this amends the capital facilities plan, but there is no amendment for the capital facilities plan as the ordinance stands right now. This will add a section 21 on page 25 of the proposal that the Pierce County Capital Facilities Plan adopted pursuant to ordinance number 2022-110 S3, that's the Capital Facilities Plan as amended, is hereby amended as shown in Exhibit B, which is attached here to and incorporated herein by reference. And Exhibit B is also in there, and that it states the sources and uses of the $50 million.
Thank you. Any questions about Council Amendment number 2? Not seeing any. All those in favor of adopting Council Amendment number 2, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The motion is adopted. We're going to open this up for a public hearing. Is there anyone in chambers wishing to provide public comment on Proposal 2023-17? Not seeing any missed persons. Anyone online?
For any member of the public wishing to make public comment, press the raise hand icon in Zoom or *9 on your telephone keypad. No hands raised.
Thank you. We'll close the public hearing and bring it back to council. Are there final remarks by council members? I don't see any. I want to thank the various department staff, facilities management, finance department. There's probably a lot of others that have played a major role that we're not aware of. But this is a big task to improve customer service, make sure we're providing for all the major essential functions of county government, and do it affordably. And this is a really big task that was given to the various departments. And because of some great staff, I think we're getting a little lucky here in finding the right location. So let's hope it works out. There's a lot of due diligence ahead of us to bring this to the finish line. But thank you for helping us be thoughtful and good stewards of public resources. The vote is on Proposal 2023-17 as amended. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Yes. Councilmember Campbell.
Aye.
Councilmember Krueger.
Aye.
Councilmember Denson.
Aye.
Councilmember Herrera.
Aye.
Councilmember Hinchin.
Aye.
Councilmember Morrell.
Aye.
Councilmember Mello.
Aye.
The result of the roll call vote is 7 ayes and 0 nays.
On a vote of 7 ayes and 0 nays, the ordinance is adopted. That brings us to Proposal 2023-79. Councilmember Denson for a motion.
Yes, I move proposal number 2023-79.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 2023-79. Mr. Boki. I'm sorry.
Need to read it in.
Oh, thank you. Madam Clerk, will you please read this item to the record?
Proposal number R 2023-79, a resolution of the Pierce County Council relating to contracting indebtedness and expressing the council's intent to authorize the issuance of limited tax general obligation bonds in an amount sufficient to produce $50 million in proceeds needed to finance the cost of purchasing an office building for county governmental use, making certain improvements thereto, and acquiring furniture, fixtures, and equipment therefore, and carrying out certain remodeling and renovation improvements to the County City Building campus. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Mr. Boki. Now on to you.
Thank you, Chair Mello. This proposal in front of you, R 2023-79, indicates the council's intent to authorize the issuance of $50 million of limited tax general obligation bonds. In Pierce County, we have a two-step process, and this is the first of that two-step process. So you're today indicating your intent, and then as you saw in the previous presentation by facilities, sometime in July, you'll be actually receiving the ordinance that approves going forward with the issuance of the $50 million in bonds. Without getting ahead of ourselves, within that document, per state law, there'll be some parameters around that, and you will, and then that'll give most likely the finance director, Mr. Gary Robinson, who's here today, the ability to time the market on the sale of those bonds. So today you're just expressing your intent. The proceeds of the bond issuance will be used to support the projects previously discussed. The source of debt service for the bonds is expected to be the general fund, as was mentioned, and the resolution of intent is the first of the two legislative steps. This received a due pass at the Rules and Operations Committee meeting on May 22nd, 2023, and there is finance staff is present to answer any of your questions.
Thank you. Director Robinson or Deputy Director Opitz, do you have anything to add?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of council. For the record, I'm Wolf Opitz, Deputy Finance Director. Thank you for your favorable consideration of this resolution at rules and for your continued contemplation of passing this resolution today. As well described by staff, this is an expression of your intent to issue bonds. There will be a bond ordinance coming before you if you adopt this resolution sometime in July, at which point we'll be able to proceed into the bond market, price the bonds in our plan today in the early part of September to receive proceeds by about the 20th of September. Again, it's for $50 million in proceeds, debt service to be paid from the general fund. Happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Opitz. Councilmember Morell has a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Opitz, how you doing today?
Good.
I just had a question pertaining to if the issuance of bonds, you say a total of $50 million worth of funds, what does that do to Pierce County's bond rating if we do get the bonds issued?
We have an extraordinarily good bond rating. Issuing additional bonds at this time would not harm it in the least. In fact, our presence in the market actually reminds them that we're here and that has them look at us. And over the last while, every time they've looked at us, they've liked us more. So I would be remiss in saying that this would do any harm. We have extraordinarily large debt capacity under the law. And we have certainly the easy ability to explain how we will pay the debt service on these bonds, with debt service now paid on maturing bonds that will be paid off, going to the new bonds. The market will see that as highly fiscally responsible. So I think we will receive a good reception by the rating agencies as well as by the bond market.
Okay. And then a follow-up question. You brought up debt capacity. I would assume we're nowhere near debt capacity as far as the $50 million.
Not even close. Well, in the $1.6 to $1.7 billion in authorized unvoted debt capacity, of which we've used in the order of $150 to $200 million in limited tax general obligation bond capacity. As is true with many counties, we have debt capacity, but we don't have revenue to pay debt service. Cities tend to have the reverse. In fact, they have capped and topped out on their debt capacity, but have revenue with which to pay debt service, but they have no more legal debt capacity.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Opitz, we're raising the $50 million backed by the general fund to purchase the new building at 1501 Market, do necessary tenant improvements in order to properly occupy it and serve the public, and do some necessary improvements to the current county and city building to improve justice services. How specific, when we go and do the bond sale this late summer, how specific do we need to be? For example, if we learn during our due diligence of the 1501 Market building that we should do some serious conversion to make it more energy efficient or cleaner, as an example, and we need maybe more revenue to do that part of the tenant improvement, how much do we need to know specificity of when we go and sell the bonds?
The important question, there are two different parts to that answer. One is in the materials in front of you. You can see even in the title, but especially in one of the sections of the resolution, a fairly exhaustive list of things that are permissible uses of the bond proceeds. And it's a rather generous and long list. All of the things you've mentioned would be permissible uses of the bond proceeds, certainly. The question may be, are we ready in time? Because there is a time limit on how long we can keep those bond proceeds before we spend them down. typically in the 24 to 30-month time frame. So oftentimes, it's a question of, can we get to that project fast enough to spend the proceeds on that purpose? So there is that. The other part of the answer is that we are doing limited tax general obligation bonds. We're not project financing. So we're sharing certainly with the bond buyers what we're going to use the proceeds for, but we're not tying this to a specific building or a specific item within the building or list of items within the building, because there's no correlation between the building itself and the repayment of the debt. If we were building a convention center and we're counting on rents, for example, operating revenue to generate the debt service, we would have to do that. In this case, it's not project financed.
Thank you. And one last question, especially for the public's benefit. It's been explained to council that the way we intend to pay the vast majority of this debt over 30 years is to reallocate debt we currently have that will mature. So existing bonds that will mature for the Parkland Sheriff's Precinct and the building of the 2002 jail. There's current debt serving those two capital projects that mature and will be reallocated to pay off this debt for the purposes we're talking about today. Is that
That is correct.
Understanding?
That is correct. The Parkland Precinct bonds, as we refer to them at times, will be paid off this year in 2023, and the, quote, jail bonds will be paid off in 2025. So there are 2 years in the upcoming 24-25 biennium in which we will still be paying debt service on the jail bonds while simultaneously incurring new debt service for the building and the related Justice Center improvements. So there is an overlap, and those overlaps are factored into the underlying assumptions in the budget under development now.
And so this is what we mean by not needing to raise taxes or reduce services. We're reallocating existing debt to pay for these capital projects. Councilman Morell.
Thank you. I do just want to make a point, and Carl, we do have a purchase and sales agreement on this building.
Carl, do you mind coming to the microphone so that the public can participate?
Carl Emlich, Director of Facilities Management. And the next item on the agenda is for reviewing and approving the real estate purchase and sale agreement for the 1501 Market
Got
Building.
it. Getting ahead of myself. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions, Councilmember Morell?
I think I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see any other questions. Thank you, Mr. Opitz. Thank you, Mr. Emlich. This is a public hearing. Anyone in chambers wishing to provide public comments on 2023-79? I'm not seeing any. Ms. Persons, anyone online?
Any member of the public wishing to make public comment can press the raise hand icon in Zoom or *9 on their telephone keypad. No hands raised.
Thank you. We'll close the public hearing and bring it back to council. Are there final remarks by council members? Not seeing any. More to come on this as it progresses. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll on 2023-79?
Councilmember Krueger.
Aye.
Councilmember Denson.
Aye.
Councilmember Herrera.
Aye.
Councilmember Hitchin.
Aye.
Councilmember Morell.
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell.
Aye.
Councilmember Mello.
Aye.
The result of the roll call vote is 7 ayes and 0 nays.
On a vote of 7 ayes and 0 nays, the resolution is adopted. That brings us to Resolution 2023-80. Councilmember Denson for a motion.
Thank you, Chair. I move proposal number R 2023-80.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 2023-80. Madam Clerk, will you please read the title into the record?
Proposal number R 2023-80, a resolution of the Pierce County Council authorizing the Pierce County Executive to execute a real estate purchase and sales agreement. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Boki.
Thank you very much, Chair Mello. This third proposal for the council's consideration, R 2023-80, authorizes the county executive to execute a real estate purchase and sale agreement for the acquisition of 1501 and 1502 Market Street, this is in downtown Tacoma, for $27,271,000. 1501 Market Street is an improvement with 149,330 square foot office building. 1502 Market Street is improved with a 46,800 square foot parking lot. This is directly across the street. The purchase and sale agreement contains a number of provisions, including disclosures, feasibility, and due diligence, which is within 90 days, right of entry, provisions regarding an existing lease within the building, the Gallagher lease, that runs from February to February 2025 at $7,510 per month. Feasibility study, earnest money, which is $250,000, and other provisions. Review of the purchase and sale agreement by the prosecuting attorney's office has occurred. Facilities management has prepared a presentation that provides more information on the purchase and sale agreement. This has received a due pass recommendation at the May 22nd, 2023 Rules and Operations Committee meeting. And I believe Mr. Carl Emlig is here to make a presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Boki. Mr. Emlig.
Good afternoon, council members. Carl Emlig, Director of Facilities Management, here to share with you more information about Resolution 2023-80. And one of the pieces I will be doing is going over a very quick summary, talking about kind of the process, recommendations, next steps, and a little bit more detail regarding the real estate purchase and sale agreement. As I mentioned previously, in 2021, we performed the Justice Center study, and one of the largest recommendations was how do we find space for Justice Center to expand? And going through a process of evaluation, we found that the 1501 Market Street building, it appears to meet our needs, and we want to explore getting into a real estate purchase and sale agreement with that. And so my recommendations are, let's take a look at 1501. Next slide, please. As you've seen, as Mr. Boki shared, it's a 1992 constructed building, 149,000 square feet, 5 stories, 180 parking stalls, and has several updates to existing features, new roof, HVAC, and elevator systems for a purchase price of $27,271,000. Next slide, please. So one of the things that the real estate purchase and sale agreement gets into is a due diligence period, which is in this agreement is a 90-day due diligence period. So from a timing standpoint, as we're going through, we've already submitted in May, we had the ordinance and resolutions, we've gone through final hearings and actions, and if the vote is to continue to move forward, we'll be signing a real estate purchase and sale agreement, beginning our due diligence period, and then also beginning a detailed plan review. And that's getting into the space planning at the building, defining the CCB projects that are going to happen first, 7th, 10th floor, and also determine any other moves or requirements that are needing to support these projects and these different moves. In September, we'll be looking at the bond pricing and also proceeds received. And right now we are looking at a 10/31 closing. Again, it depends on when actually the agreement is signed. It's a 90-day due diligence with a 60-day closing period. Doesn't mean we have to take all of that time, but we have that time to go through all the process. Next slide. So one of the big questions that I know I have heard from members of council is, well, who would be going in this building? And right now, we have, the first is, how do we free up space in this building? Council, executive, communications are 3 of the departments that we'd be moving out of so that we could then remodel the spaces to provide for Justice Center activities. The remainder are finance, which is at the 950 building, 950 Fawcett Building, which is just down the hill a little bit. We have IT, which is at 1102 Broadway. Risk Management is currently in the 950 building. Economic Development is currently leasing space. Facilities, we are in 1102 Broadway as well. And also Human Resources, which is currently at the Annex. So those groups we're looking at moving into, they'd be the first group that we're saying, yes, all of these groups could move into the new building. I have a to be determined, and that is Sheriff's Admin. There may be some advantages to keep Sheriff Admin at one location. And also the main piece, when I say Sheriff Admin, I'm talking about the groups that do not interact with the public or do not have a direct impact or necessity to be close to the jail services. So we'd keep the front counter for the jail or for, the Sheriff's Department here in this building. Also for court services and protection, those would still remain here, and of course, corrections. The other one would be Human Services, because one of the things that we're looking at is Human Services currently is split in two locations. They're on the second floor of Soundview Building, which is off Pacific, and they also currently lease space at the Tacoma Mall office building. If it does not work out, let's say that we want to move the Sheriff's Department, and it's a better fit to move them all into Soundview, then we could look at moving Human Services into the new building. So these are part of the different options that we need to explore over our 90 days to see what makes the most sense for that building and also for all the different functions and services across the county. And also General Services is another group that they currently are housed at the Annex West, and there may be some opportunity to place them into this building as well. There is some industrial square footage in the second or the parking level structure of the building. So these are all the different groups that we need to evaluate to see who is the best fit and how best to make that happen. Next slide, please. So as we talk CCB improvements, a lot of it is focused on the groups that will be moving out, because one of the ideas is to make sure that all spaces can then be utilized for Justice Center functions. So if council and the executive move out, what are we going to do in each of these different floors? Initial thinking is courtrooms on the 7th floor, expanding the prosecuting attorney's space on the 10th. And then on the first floor, really looking at services and trying to move public services into the center core of the building. And all of these are things that we're going to need to go through to see how much money is it going to be, what are those costs, what are those needs here in this building. Next slide, please. I mentioned earlier about other location improvements. So some of the other groups that we'd be moving is once the 950 building, once finance is moved out, risk management, we have opportunity for Department of Assigned Counsel to move from a lease space into the 950 building. We'll have to see, are there any needs that they're going to need to have to actually properly move in and support their functions. Family support currently is in the 950 building, and we're looking, do they fit actually in the 920 building if we expand services for the PA on the 10th floor here. Annex West, same thing, is if General Services moves out, what do we do with that space and how best to utilize that? That could be for election center expansion and provide some other opportunities for projects across the county. Annex, we know that Human Resources will be moving out of the annex, so we'll have another space that we need to look at there to see how best to utilize that. And then I talked a little bit about Soundview, if it's a complete sheriff building or if it becomes maybe a complete human services building. Next slide. So it's very easy to talk about how quick all these steps will happen. There is a lot to do over the next 90 days to first figure out what's it going to take to move into this building, who needs to move into this building, and what is the cost that it'll take to do the tenant improvements and also the improvements here in the CCB. So once the REPSA is signed, we will then have full access to the building to begin all of our due diligence process, getting all the information to make sure there's no environmental concerns or any other data that we can get from any of the public agencies that are out there. hire a consultant to then begin assisting us in going through the planning process, also the due diligence process. I put down there at the beginning the space planning efforts. One of the things is we have to meet with each of the different departments, different stakeholders to figure out exactly what are we going to do. So we have the Justice Center study, which is kind of the foundational document for all the groups that are in the CCB. We have a basis. We need to confirm that that still makes sense. That was completed in 2021. We want to make sure there hasn't been any law changes or operational changes to confirm those steps, so we can then beginning to explore what makes the most sense to move forward first. Defining the needs, preparing our options, and then, of course, modifying to constraints. And that's my polite way of saying we have $50 million. Our needs are many, and we may need to modify exactly what we're trying to accomplish to make sure we meet exactly what we need to do, and then explore what maybe we want to explore doing more of. I know I've shared previously, we want to identify all the needs, come up with cost estimates, and then figure out how do we move these things forward. And we have a budget that we're trying to shoot with. Also, as Wolfgang Opus shared, one of the big pieces is with bond funds, they have a 30-month period. So once you receive the funds, you need to expend those funds in a 30-month period. So coming up with enough projects and the ability to actually deliver in that 30 months is something that we have to look at, because we can do a lot, but we need to make sure we do it within that 30-month period. And that is it. Any questions for me?
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Imlig? Councilmember Krueger.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Imlich. That's a lot of work. I'm just curious on the bond market. I don't know how volatile it is at this time, and when you mentioned the due diligence time or feasibility, is that, if we find that the bond market rates are going to be not beneficial, can you act sooner or respond to that?
We have the 90 days. With the amount of work we have, I'd be concerned about acting sooner than our 90 days.
Okay.
However, I don't know the flexibility about extending longer. There may be some options for that. As far as the bond market, I'd have to turn it over to finance to answer any specifics.
Yes, again, for the record, I'm Wolf Opitz from Finance. Say first, if I could time the bond market 4 months out, I wouldn't be standing here. But what we do is to make sure that we're in the market in September, not in August, because September, the bond buyers are back in the market. They're home from vacation. School has restarted. It's a known fact that you want more buyers in the market when you're selling bonds. The other thing we're doing is, of course, leading with our strength, which is our extraordinary credit rating. We are an exceptionally high-rated county. We get great results in the bond market. We've been in the market recently, and the market likes us. I'll just say that without knowing that we were planning to go into the market, Moody's contacted us a couple of weeks ago and wanted to do a re-review of our credit, at which point we were telling them that, yes, we do plan to go into the market in September, and the results of that re-review are still pending. We're supposed to hear something next week, as they were very interested in looking at whether they might even consider upgrading us. I don't know that they would, but it's always possible. Close by saying that, yes, there's certain volatility in the bond market, but you want to be reliable, credible, financially strong, an attractive sized issuance. You get a lot of buyers at $50 million. You try to keep an eye on when you're in the market relative to other big sellers of bonds, like the state coming out with $500 million the day before you're in the market. It's going to sop up a lot of demand, right? So the ordinance we would ask of you in July that gives us some authority to, I wouldn't say time the market as much as pick our spots and act within the parameters accorded us in that ordinance, would give us the opportunity with our financial advisor, D.A. Davidson, and good counsel from Foster Garvey, to be able to make some judgments as we're getting closer to the time we would actually price the bonds. So.
Thank you. It's good knowledge. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. And to Councilmember Kruger's point, we're the final decision makers with the final bond sale. So if something really terrible happens, I mean, the consultants aren't going to let us get into a bad deal. You're not going to bring us a bad deal, and we wouldn't say yes to a bad deal. So there's a lot of steps to.
Yeah, we have between now and July, and the late July. And once you give us the ordinance, we will have already, of course, spent a fair bit of money on the work necessary to enter the market. So there's some legal work, there's some financial advisory work, there's some lining up our credit rating process for which we have to pay a fee to the rating agencies in order to engage. So a fair bit is in motion by the time we get to the late July period where we would be back before you. But we're confident that we have a reasonable projection in front of you at 4.5% for 30-year money. And we think that it's well within the parameters. And we also, who can say, I mean, we were obviously standing here on a day where things are happening in D.C. that we hope are going to progress well and that keep everything right side up. But there are things that can happen between now and September that we don't control and that we can't do much about. Having said that, the municipal bond market for issuers like us, for credit like us, is reasonably stable and very strong because we're a safe bet. People like us want to buy our bonds. They trust us to pay them back.
Thank you. Councilmember Morell.
Mr. Opich, you can sit down, and I will bring up Mr. Inley. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just getting back to the sales and purchase agreement, the sale price that you've settled on, I assume that's what we're looking at. Who determined that price?
That price, so from a procedural standpoint, they came up with the $27,271,000. That was from them. We also will still be performing an appraisal during our due diligence period to confirm that this price is appropriate. So that is one of the procedural steps that will happen.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate that explanation because there does seem to be some discrepancies in the market pertaining to a lot of the specifics on this building. So I assume you're going to check the square footage, verify the parking, things like that, and then the warranty on the roof and the HVC and all that kind of issues. I think there again, the type of construction of this building, I think this building was built very well. Specifications were pretty tight, and it looks like a well-constructed building. Mello it was built pre-LEED certified type buildings that Chair Mello had kind of talked about some of the things that would be included in a certified building nowadays under construction, but that didn't happen on this building, but it does seem to be constructed very well. It is very walkable, bikeable, and it does have transit close. Okay. And is it considered a Class B office building, do you know?
I believe it is Class B.
Okay. I think if you break that price down, it's under $183 per square foot, which is below, I think, the average, even at Tacoma for 2021. Much less a very large city to the north of us that their average square footage price is $750 a square foot. So, which one sold 6 months ago for $1,000 a square foot. So if we could work those numbers and verify everything and it works based on your 90-day due diligence, I think it's a could be a good deal for the county. Plus, it preserves a building in Tacoma, and which is a good thing. So you do have a lot of work in front of you. I assume the plan is, are you going to contract out for all the TI work within the building?
Yes.
So will you have prints ready? Because, you only have a certain window of time to spend this money. And, the contractors out there seem to be booked up well in advance. So you're going to have to make sure you have your plans, prints, and permits ready to go. So you have a big task in front of you.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councilor Morell. I don't see any other hands at this time. Thank you, Mr. Amlake. We're going to open this up for a public hearing. Anyone in chambers wishing to provide comment on Resolution 2023-80? I'm not seeing any missed persons. Anyone online?
For any member of the public wishing to make public comment, press the raise hand icon in Zoom or *9 on your telephone keypad. No hands raised.
Thank you. We'll close the public hearing, bring it back to council. Are there final remarks by council members? Not seeing any. As has been stated, the Facilities Department has a mighty task ahead of them. So does the Finance Department to help manage the bond sale for this big project. So we will be supporting you closely. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll on Resolution 2023-80?
Councilmember Denson.
Aye.
Councilmember Herrera.
Aye.
Councilmember Hitchin.
Aye.
Councilmember Morell.
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell.
Aye.
Councilmember Krueger. Councilmember Mello.
Aye.
The result of the roll call vote is 7 ayes and 0 nays.
On a vote of 7 ayes and 0 nays, the resolution is adopted. That brings us to proposal R 2023-69. Vice Chair Campbell for a motion.
Thank you, Chair. I move proposal number R 2023-69.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 2023-69. Madam Clerk, will you please read the title into the record?
Proposal number R 2023-69, a resolution of the Pierce County Council initiating a process to consider amendments to Title 18D of the Pierce County Code, Development Regulations, Environmental.
Last line, please.
The last line, commissioned by date certain.
Thank you. Mr. Taylor.
Yes, thank you. So this proposal begins at page 195 of your electronic packet. Your packet includes a staff report, the equity note, the proposal, and then there's a letter from the Master Builders Association of Pierce County indicating support for the proposal. The proposal is council initiated. It's sponsored by council members Mello, Campbell, and Krueger. So the proposal before you would initiate a process to increase the local state environmental policy act or SEPA categorical exemption thresholds for single-family and multifamily residential projects. The proposal would increase these thresholds to the maximum permitted by law, as recommended by the Pierce County Housing Action Strategy that was adopted by the Pierce County Council last year. SEPA is a state law that mandates environmental review, disclosure of potential impacts, and mitigation of these impacts when appropriate. There are certain projects that are categorically exempt from review under SEPA, but must meet county standards for environmental protection through critical areas such as wetlands and other requirements. For example, construction of a single-family home is typically exempt from State Environmental Policy Act review. Projects that are below the exemption thresholds, the categorical exemption thresholds are exempt. So the proposal before you addresses two project categories, single-family and multifamily residential construction. The proposal would start a process to consider increasing the exemption thresholds for these types of projects to the maximum allowed by law. Local governments have the local option to increase these thresholds if certain requirements are met. In the case of single-family residential, counties are allowed to increase the threshold to 30 units for single-family in the urban growth area, and then to 60 units for multifamily in the urban growth area. For comparison, Pierce County currently uses a exemption threshold of 20 units per project. So this would increase that threshold to 30 and 60 units respectively.
As I noted, increasing these thresholds is a recommendation from the 2022 Housing Action Strategy. It's hoped or expected that increasing the thresholds for the SEPA categorical exemption will shorten the administrative process for approving smaller housing projects and have a cost benefit due to that shortened process. Again, all other standards such as critical area protection and impact fees would continue to apply to projects. In order to increase these thresholds, the county has to consult with state agencies, tribal governments, and the public and follow a process that's set forth in state law, specifically WAC 197-11800. This resolution initiates that process, assigns the work to the Planning and Public Works Department, and then provides a schedule by which the department should report back to the council. So the proposal was reviewed by your Community Development Committee at its May 15th meeting. You did receive a do pass recommendation. It's before the council today for the council's review and final consideration. I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Are there questions of Mr. Taylor? Not seeing any. Thank you. Let's open this up for a public hearing. Is there anyone in chambers wishing to provide public comment on R 2023-69? Not seeing anyone rushing to the podium to move Mr. Taylor out of the way. Ms. Persons, anyone online?
For any member of the public wishing to make public comment, press the raise hand icon in Zoom or *9 on your telephone keypad. No hands raised.
Thank you. We'll close the public hearing, bring it back to council. Are there final remarks by council members? Thank you, Councilmember Morell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate the explanation, Mr. Taylor, on this. I am looking forward to the report and looking at the cost benefit of doing this process and then the streamlining of regulations that would allow the maximum exemption on SEPA. So I appreciate time and effort to explain some of those things to me and look forward to what the department comes back in 6 months. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Appreciate council advancing this. As was noted, this is one of many items of early action in our adopted housing action strategy. And there's quite a bit of work for the department to do on our behalf to analyze the benefits of doing this and how we would streamline those processes more specifically. So more to come in the near future is what this resolution is calling for, but I'm glad we continue to advance several action items that are important to the delivery of housing in our marketplace. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll on Resolution 2023-69?
Yes. Councilmember Herrera.
Aye.
Councilmember Hitchin.
Aye.
Councilmember Morell.
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell.
Aye.
Councilmember Gruber.
Aye.
Councilmember Denson.
Aye.
Councilmember Mello.
Aye.
The result of the roll call vote is 7 ayes and 0 nays.
On a vote of 7 ayes and 0 nays, the resolution is adopted. That brings us to Proposal R 2023-83. Councilmember Herrera for a motion.
I move proposal number R2023- approval.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 2023-83. Madam Clerk, will you please read the title into the record?
Proposal number R 2023-83, a resolution of the Pierce County Council approving Pierce County's District Court Community Transition Services pilot program pursuant to a proviso in ordinance number 2022-76S2 and authorize the implementation of the pilot program. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Burgess, to brief the council.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, by way of background, this council in ordinance 2022-76S2 appropriated $250,000 to district court to develop and recommend a pilot community transition program, and the program would then have to be approved by council by resolution, which is what we are doing today. That $250,000 was increased by $100,000 by ordinance number 2023-12S, and this was to accommodate a two-year pilot program instead of a one-year pilot program. Pursuant to that proviso in 2022-76S2, the district court recommended a pilot community transition program to the council during a study session on April 25 of this year. That plan is in your packet. As described, the pretrial program will use navigators to identify and provide therapeutic housing and employment pathways to participants, and also case management. This resolution will approve the plan that was presented to the council on April 25, and then it will authorize the district court to implement the pilot program. Implementation may include contracts for up to 2 years with 2 providers that are named, Vallejo and Pierce County Alliance, selected pursuant to the Pierce County Code provisions relating to judicial contracts. I'm available to answer any questions, and I believe Mr. Hardiman is here too, from district court to answer questions.
Thank you. Mr. Hardiman, I'd like to invite you up to help answer questions. I'm not going to ask you to, you went into detail about the program design and the theory of change that we're after here. You went into detail at a study session a couple of weeks ago, and you did a very good job of explaining to us. But just for the public's benefit, especially in layperson's terms, can you share briefly what is going to be different after we're able to implement this program?
Thank you, Council, for having me here. Dominic Hardiman with Pierce County District Court. What's going to be different is this program is going to be dedicated to transitioning individuals from custody who are in a pretrial status. We've had situations in the past where we've had similar programs. We had a True Blood program, and I spoke before the council several years ago about the True Blood program. Very similar. We had some great success with that. We also have currently jail transition services within the Pierce County Jail. What Jail Transition Services does is they work with individuals who are identified with a primary mental health disorder. They provide up to, I believe, 90 days of case management upon release, which is real important in providing support for housing, employment, whatever your pathway is. The issue with the jail transition program is they've got limited number of staff, and you have to have a primary mental health disorder. So that excludes individuals who are only dealing with substance use disorders, or employment may be a barrier for their successful transition. This program is going to provide pathways for all 3 of those. So that's the difference. And I bring up Jail Transition Services because that's really a similar program. My frustration with that program, which is a great program, my frustration with that program is very limited. So my access and my team's access to those services was very limited. You fought with the other courts to access those services. Again, this is reaching beyond just those individuals with a primary mental health disorder. We're talking individuals that have housing issues, again, substance use issues, employment issues, and mental health issues. So it's a much broader program than those specific programs I just mentioned.
Thank you. And is it fair to say, based on your professional experience and what you've seen in other parts of the country, that when we're able to effectively implement programs like this, get people access to housing, employment, substance abuse treatment, that we reduce their likelihood to re-offend and increase public safety?
Absolutely, absolutely. Within my own caseload, I've been doing this for years, and I learned a long time ago that the criminal justice system is only as effective as the resources and the services and the supportive services that are available. So it's vital for us to connect with the services that are out in the community. This is a whole nother level of support through PCA, Pierce County Alliance, and Vallejo. This is a whole nother level of collaborative work. We just haven't done this level, and I'm really excited about the potential for what we can accomplish. I know we're going to accomplish great things.
Thank you, Mr. Hardiman. Are there any other questions for Mr. Hardiman or Mr. Bridges before we open this up for a public hearing? Not seeing any. Thank you, Mr. Hardiman. Anyone, we're going to open this up for a public hearing. Anyone in chambers wishing to provide comment on Resolution 2023-83, please come to the podium. Say your name for the record. You're free to come. Please introduce yourself, and you have up to 3 minutes to make your remarks.
Thank you. My name is John Austin. I'm an attorney with the Department of Assigned Counsel, and I've been practicing criminal defense for almost 25 years. And it's programs like this that make a significant difference, and we haven't really had them. We've had ideas, we've had versions of them, but this is certainly the most dedicated one that I've been aware of. I was asked to come today just to lend my support, but as I heard the presentation, I thought of a case that I have coming up later this week. I have a client, he's in custody, he was not competent, he was sent to Western State Hospital for restoration, or was ordered to. Because of delays with Western State Hospital, he spent almost a year in the Pierce County Jail in solitary, awaiting transportation for competency restoration. He's been adjudged competent. We have a hearing for him on Friday. And when I spoke to him, he discussed working with Jail Transitional Services and the idea that there's going to be programming available that gives even more support. It changes the mindset of individuals that are leaving the jail because they know, I've been in here for a year, he's not going to have an exit strategy. He has mental illnesses. And this type of program, I think, will be exceptionally helpful and certainly, in my opinion, in 25 years would help reduce recidivism. Thank you.
Thank you for being with us and sharing those thoughts. Anyone else in chambers wishing to provide comment? I'm not seeing any. Ms. Persons, anyone online?
For any member of the public wishing to make public comment, press the raise hand icon in Zoom or star 9 on your telephone keypad. It looks like we have one hand, and that's Angela.
Hi, my name is Angela Whittier, and I'm the Youth Reentry Program Manager at Tacoma Goodwill. I've been working with Dom over the past few months, trying to come together with a good program that will help everybody kind of coming out. Goodwill was recently granted a $600,000 4-year grant for working with young adults 18 to 24 living in Pierce County. What we'll be able to provide them is if they're released and able to bail out, or upon their 90 days pre-release, I'd be working with them pre the release. Once they would come out and enroll into my program, first thing we do is work on getting their GED or high school diploma. They would go through 90 days of mental toughness, and then we'd help them get a trade certificate of their choice. We currently have 5 employers that are signed on to work with the individuals that are in our program. My program will pay them for 200 hours at $15.79 an hour. So we have a budget of $220,000 that would go directly to people coming out of incarceration. With that, the employers have signed on that they will hire them on as long as they complete their program successfully. We also have mentorship, and we'll keep them on our caseload for an entire year to continue to help them through and work with the retention to keep those rates up. We provide trauma-informed care. I just think this is a great program for Pierce County and to really bring down the reentry rate. And so I'm really, really happy and proud to be a part of this program.
Thank you for being with us,
Thank you.
Angela.
No additional hands raised.
Thank you. We'll close the public hearing and bring it back to council. Are there any final remarks on this resolution? Councilmember Hitchin.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Dom, for being here to speak to this and bringing it to our attention and to my colleagues that sponsored this and helped push this through. If we want behaviors to change, we need to change what is in front of the people who are not able to stay out of trouble. And I learned this in the classroom. If you don't actually help somebody figure out how to solve the problem in a way that is reasonable and appropriate, their behaviors don't change. So using that same mindset, if we can help solve some of the problems that caused the behavior that ended up landing somebody in our jail, we might see them back there, and quite likely we'll see them back there. And so if we don't want that as an outcome for our community, we need to do something different. I think this is a great first step. So thank you for bringing this forward and for the work behind the scenes that happened to get it here. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Councilmember Herrera.
Thank you, Chair. Again, this is, you said everything down there on that end, but this has potential to be, positively impact a lot of people, and for them to get back into their communities successfully, not just to get back into their community, but to do it successfully. So I'll be supporting this. So thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Councilmember Morell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Hardeman, I appreciate all the work that you've done in Pierce County while you've been here. You've been a great advocate for those that don't understand why you're advocating for them. You have a bigger task in front of you than the issue that we were talking before, because they deal with construction, you deal with human beings. And that challenge is very challenging to change someone's outlook in nature. But I think as we've looked at this for the last, year, I think we started this process on a TJC pathway forward. I think as Councilmember Hitchens said, we've got to do something different to get better results. And I think this council is willing to make that investment. I think there again, the main goal to reduce recidivism, and also with the wraparound services that we're adding this. I mean, it just provides more opportunity for these individuals as they get out, other than just release them at 5 a.m. and say, see you later, knowing that the average person we'll see them in less than 3 years, unless they change their outlook, their situation, their environment, their friends, and sometimes their family. So I appreciate the task in front of you. I will be obviously looking at outcome and seeing how this is performing and working, but I think your team is up for the task, and hopefully we can, as a council, give you all the support you need. So I greatly appreciate your passion, your desire to change outcomes. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Coover.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to say quickly that I can support this because I know, Mr. Hardiman, you and your team have the right attitude, values to make this work. If it's going to be you and your team. So I can support it for that. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Hardiman, you've heard the enthusiasm from the council, and us bringing you back in the future somewhat frequently is not because we don't trust you. It's because we are really serious about this work with you and supporting you and the partnership you're helping us build, and that we want to stay close to understanding the outcomes. We want to stay close to this evidence-based approach. And we want to learn alongside you and support you. So the requests for coming back to present on outcomes is not because we don't trust you. It's because we know how terribly important this work is. And we're so grateful for the partnerships that you've already developed to launch this: Goodwill, Pierce County Alliance, Vallejo, and others. So thank you for your smart work and your passion for this work. Councilmember Morell.
Just one closing comment. I do want to thank Mr. Bridges for his patience working through so many different models out there. I think, trying to meld together and make one unique for Pierce County, but I appreciate all the time and effort that you put into it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Morell. Thank you for recognizing our staff who work so hard to take our wild ideas and help make them reality. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll on Resolution 2023-83?
Yes, Councilmember Hitchen.
Aye.
Councilmember Morell.
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell.
Aye.
Councilmember Krueger.
Aye.
Councilmember Jensen.
Excused.
Thank you. Councilmember Herrera.
Aye.
Councilmember Mello.
Aye.
The result of the roll call vote is 6 ayes and 0 nays.
On a vote of 6 ayes and 0 nays, the resolution is adopted. That brings us to Section 10, Other Business and Announcements. Are there any other business or announcements by council members? Councilmember Hitchen.
Thank you, Chair. I'd written a note and then forgot during the transit event proclamation. The week without driving is October 2nd to the 8th. I'm planning on signing up again. I found it really impactful last year to go through that process of really navigating our transit system and some of the ways it can just change your life. I know some of us, it literally is not possible because there's not transit to your area, but maybe you find a way to go on an outing via transit from work or something. But if you haven't done that, it really was eye-opening. Just figuring out how to move dog food was just a my whole thing. And I was like, okay. The second part is I just want to do a quick shout out to the ferry division, all 1.5 or 2, something like that, people, the communications team, HMS and the executive's office around working to put together a shuttle service. We typically start 2-boat service with our ferry system, and we don't have a second boat, so they came up with a plan C, D, and E, and we're running shuttle service on the island on a set route. They had off-site parking at Pierce College over the weekend. They had, and then they were running, and then they made arrangements with Pierce Transit to run their regular bus service on Sunday, which typically they don't, and then sent me data all weekend long, which was great to see whether it was being used or not. And there wasn't a huge amount of use, but there was interest and conversation, and it kind of became this could be a pathway forward because we can't bring a third ferry into the county. We literally don't have a place to park it, nor the ability to kind of run that, at least from my understanding. And as capacity is growing, what does that look like? So this is a way to try and meet the need if we are short a ferry or some of these other things. So it was a really interesting experiment. We'll see how it goes over the next couple weeks. Hopefully by then we'll get the second boat, but it was interesting. I appreciate the ingenuity and the organization and the communication that went out. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Hitchin. Ms. Long, any other business for council today?
Thank you.
Thank you. That brings us to section 11, Citizens Forum. This is the time for members of the public to provide input to the council on matters that were not on our action agenda today. You have 3 minutes to make your comments. There's no members of the public in chambers. So, Ms. Persons, is there anyone online to participate in Citizens Forum?
Anyone wishing to participate in Citizens Forum can press the raise hand icon in Zoom or *9 on your telephone keypad. No hands raised.
Seeing no hands, we will close Citizens Forum. And seeing no other business before the Pierce County Council, we are adjourned.